Tonight on the program, how Trump's trade tariffs will affect Thailand's exports and the economy. Then more on the aftermath of the forced repatriation of Uyghurs. And an inspiring story of a Dutch expat in Thailand. Swadika, I'm Nad Bunag and welcome to This Week with Thai PBS World. Since U.S. President Donald Trump took office, he has made sweeping and dramatic reforms to the economy, one of which is increasing trade tariffs against countries such as China, Mexico, and Canada. But how will this affect Thailand? Here's a brief timeline of how President Trump has imposed tariffs on other countries. When he took office, President Trump decided to increase tariffs by 10% on all imports from China, which took effect in February. Earlier this month, there were 3 major tariffs slapped on China, Mexico, and Canada. Trump decided to increase tariffs by another 10% on China and up to 25% on imports from Mexico and Canada. But a major change was the 25% tariffs imposed on steel and aluminium imports from all countries. On April 2nd, Trump will increase tariffs on car imports from all countries by 25% and is also likely to increase them on other products such as semiconductors, wood, medicine, and copper. Most importantly, we're also waiting to see whether the U.S. will increase tariffs on all imports from the EU as well. So these are the 7 types of products from countries outside the U.S. that will be affected by the tariffs. And these include steel, aluminium, electronics, copper, cars, wood, and also medicine. And according to a recent report by the Kasikorn Research Center, the U.S. has increased tariffs on these products because they want to support more domestic production, and the U.S. has higher trade deficit on these. And if we look at Thailand, in terms of its exports of the 7 products mentioned, the country is most reliant on the U.S. market for electronics, including semiconductors, worth $51.2 billion US. That is 34% compared to other countries such as China, the EU, ASEAN, and Japan. Thailand relies more on the Chinese market for exports of aluminium, copper, and wood, and on the ASEAN market for exports of medicines. And the reciprocal tariffs will, of course, affect Thailand's exports on the 7 products mentioned because Kasikorn Research Center said that the export value of these products to the U.S. are as high as $22 billion US. That is 40% of all exports from Thailand to the U.S. and 7.4% of all exports to many other countries around the world in 2024. And the most affected will, of course, be electronics, including electrical appliances, due to sudden changes in their supply chains. So it is very likely that the export of these products from Thailand to the U.S. will be much more challenging. Not only that, while many other countries might have to find alternative export markets to replace the U.S., Thailand will face tough competition both within the Thai market and other export markets. As Thailand maintains a high trade surplus with the U.S., the country is bracing for more impact of Trump's tariff policy. Frank Han-shi joins me now to explain more about the possible repercussions for the Thai economy. So Frank, how will Thailand's economy respond if Trump's reciprocal tariffs take effect on April 2nd?
Hi, Ned. We've seen President Donald Trump imposing trade tariffs on several countries, including China, Mexico, Canada, because his purpose is to disrupt global supply chains, where the United States does not get much benefits but bear with deficits. He desperately plans to move production lines back to the States. But what about Thailand? Will Thailand get hit by tariffs? Let's take a step back to analyze the risk, as Thailand is the 11th largest country holding trade surplus with the States, and the trade surplus amount is very huge, with over 1.2 trillion baht, equivalent to 35 billion US. So I think Thailand will get hit with high possibility because of the huge trade surplus amount here. Business leader also warned the government and urged the government to start the negotiation process with the U.S. administration because the crisis might get triggered by 10 to 15% of tariff on Thailand's products. Possibly, some industrial leaders want that Thailand's GDP could shrink by 1% if U.S. administrations decided to impose such tariffs. According to Vice Chairman of the Thai Chamber of Commerce, quote, Trump's tariffs are considered a zero-sum game policy where one country benefits at the expense of another. Thailand must strategically position itself to maximize gains from the restructuring of global trade, which could possibly impact Thailand's GDP by 0.5 to 1%. So, of course, I think right now from the government side, they also started their negotiation process. Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra has established a special team to negotiate with the U.S. administration, and also Commerce Minister Pichai Narithapan led a delegation to the U.S. to start the negotiation process in early February. But we haven't seen any firm confirmation about U.S. dropping tariffs against Thailand. Well, the economy might get into downtrend. One business leader told me that silver lining still exists if Thailand can really balance the threat with the U.S. And he also suggests that Thailand government use strategy to import more agricultural products or even buy plants from the United States, of course, because Thailand wants to avert large amount of loss. This is what he said.
What is the partnership between the U.S. and Thailand, right? There's a lot of things happen in this region. So we still can import a lot. We import a lot of energy. Can we purchase more energy from the U.S.? We are also the hub aviation. So can we purchase more airplane from the U.S.? The U.S. is still a big agriculture country, and we still have a lot of demand of the material or other agricultural product that we can import from the U.S. So at the current situation, how can we increase our import, and then also to see that what will be the sector that possibly for the Thai investor to invest in the U.S. to leverage whatever the benefit, the bilateral benefit that on the face that we can see that we get it from the U.S.
It means that the negotiation with U.S. administration will play a very crucial role to lower the crisis. And economists also told me that the government should focus on how to drive the private consumption, how to drive the public budget delivery, and also protect private sector here. This is what she said.
They should try to negotiate to have the imports product, right, that has little or no comparative advantages. So arms, weapons, and some agriculture products, beverages, and some type of machinery are possible. And they might think about to switch the quota, for example, soybean and corn.
So what Trump is doing now actually is trying to reorder the supply chains, but this might trigger inflation and even recession in the globe in the near future. Dr. Jutatip also told me that Thailand's government should protect SMEs, small and medium enterprises, and of course, expedite the delivery of public budget, because right now we've seen the potential date for trade tariff is just less than 2 weeks away. So the Thailand's government, they need to act very rapidly to protect the country. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Frank. Now on to another big issue. Following the international backlash against Thailand for deporting Uyghurs back to China last month, the Thai government has invited journalists to follow up on the livelihoods of the deported Uyghurs in China. The move has, however, sparked further outrage, especially among human rights groups. Here's more with Gitipat Chusukjit.
The Thai delegation led by Deputy Prime Minister Phumtham Vechayachai travelled to Xinjiang at China's invitation this week to meet with Chinese officials and some of the 40 Uyghurs deported from Thailand last month. The intention was to prove that the Uyghurs are not being mistreated as feared by some Western governments and international human rights groups. According to reports, the returnees have reunited with their families, received government support, and are living normal lives. One Uyghur man told Thai officials that he now owns livestock, earns a stable income, and is pleased to be back home. He asked the media, however, not to show his face, saying that he wants privacy and a peaceful life. Human rights groups say that there is no way to verify these claims.
What happening now is nothing short of image laundering. This is a coordinated operation by China and Thailand in order to whitewash what the Thai authority did regarding forced repatriation of 40 Uyghur men from Bangkok to Xinjiang. And at the same time, in a broader context, this is to whitewash the ongoing repression by Chinese authority against Uyghurs in Xinjiang as well. So it's just a show. It doesn't have any real meaning that would respond to concerns raised by UN bodies, by foreign governments, by human rights organizations.
Critics also question whether the Uyghurs really had a free choice to return home. Another human rights expert says their decision was likely influenced by the limited options being offered.
The point is that if somebody detained you for 11 years and ask, you have no choice. You can continue in the detention or you can go back. A reasonable person would say, okay, let me go back because my future here, detained, you see, in a small sort of a detention center, is not a future. Okay, maybe back in their home country, it would be better. Maybe they decide that without coercion, but it's an indirect coercion because there is another way out already that they would prefer, I'm sure. And moreover, in Uyghur or in Xinjiang, they would not be able to criticize anyone, you see, neither the Thai authority nor the Chinese one. So you will get half of the fact, half of the truth by that visit.
Meanwhile, opposition MP Rangsiman Rome criticized the visit, saying it doesn't ease global human rights concerns and it could even make the situation worse, leading to stronger international criticism. Thailand's action have already brought serious diplomatic consequences. Recently, the US Secretary of State imposed visa restrictions on the Thai government officials who were involved in the forced repatriation of the Uyghurs. The European Parliament passed a resolution last week to condemn Thailand for deporting them back to China and called on Thai authorities to stop deporting asylum seekers and refugees back to countries where their lives are at risk. Only China has defended Thailand's decision and condemned the US for interfering with their cooperation with Thailand.
Thailand is now seen as a country that failed to respect due process, respect legal obligations. We are not talking just customary obligations. We are talking about legal obligation under international law and domestic law of Thailand. And the government of Thailand failed to follow through with these obligations. So it means that Thailand, in effect, has become a rogue state, which is going to put it in a very difficult position for foreign governments to engage in any agreement with Thailand.
Experts say that the Thai government must improve its transparency, allow independent monitoring of the Uyghurs and prevent future deportations of at-risk groups.
As they show to the public, they care for human rights, they care to follow our law on torture and disappearance, which is the new law. They should affirm that they will be careful about this. The processes of deportation or refoulement should be transparent. Video should be taken. Everything should be explainable to the public.
Kitipat Sukhjit, reporting for Thai PBS World.
And that was the latest on Thailand's treatment of the Uyghurs. And now let's have a look at the other stories making headlines throughout the week in our weekly roundup. The no-confidence debate against Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra will be held next Monday and Tuesday, with voting expected on Wednesday. This is Prime Minister Paetongtarn's first no-confidence debate, and the opposition says it will focus on her alleged lack of leadership and allowing her father, former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, to have influence over her government. A group of locals from 19 provinces dumped 5 tons of dead black-shin tilapia fish in front of the government house on Tuesday, demanding that the Prime Minister address the problem of the invasive species immediately. They claim that the presence and uncontrolled breeding of the fish represent the worst environmental disaster in Thailand's history. The opposition People's Party is demanding a straightforward investigation into the fatal accidents at construction sites on the Rama 2 Elevated Expressway project and accountability for human and material loss to prevent repetitions of such accidents. This follows the latest accident last Friday night, in which 6 people, including an engineer, were killed and about 20 other people were injured when a bridge under construction near the Dao Kanong toll plaza collapsed. Police have seized more than 200,000 e-cigarettes with an estimated retail value of about 100 million baht in coordinated raids on 5 rented warehouses and 5 houses in Nonthaburi province. Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra also inspected the warehouses, stating that the authorities will continue cracking down on illegal networks as well as officials found to be corruptly enabling these operations. Thailand and Ireland are marking the 50th anniversary of their diplomatic relations. Ireland's Minister of State visited Thailand to strengthen ties, announcing a new agreement to introduce Irish beef to the Thai market. As Thailand is expecting to develop affordable housing projects, the minister also shared insights on how collaboration with the private sector could help accelerate the implementation. Frank Hashi has more details.
Today I spent St. Patrick's Day with the Irish.
Thailand is marking its diplomatic milestones with several nations this year, including Ireland. To celebrate 50 years of diplomatic ties with Thailand, an Irish minister visited Bangkok this week, highlighting the significance of the Thai and Southeast Asian markets to the Emerald Isle.
There are many companies, Irish companies investing here in Thailand, the likes of Stripe and Kingspan and others, the Kerry Group, and there are investments in Ireland through the Central Group and the Minor Group. There's huge opportunities for even further growth, particularly in the food and beverage sector. Thailand is part of ASEAN as well. You know, there's 600 million consumers here in Southeast Asia, and I think in terms of trade, that EU-Thailand free trade agreement that's been worked on, that we're working with our counterparts in Europe and bilaterally with Thailand, is going to be really important for further developing trade.
Minister Cummings also unveiled a new agreement to export Irish beef to Thailand. With Ireland's sustainably grass-fed beef, he is highly optimistic about the product's growth in the Thai market. Beyond trade, he also visited Sister Louise Hogan, who founded the Fatima Center in 1978 to help break the cycle of poverty for women and children. The minister expressed his admiration for the influence of the Irish community in Thailand.
We'll be going and visiting Sister Louise at the Fatima Centre shortly, and she's been doing huge work with vulnerable women and children here in Bangkok for the last 60 years. So I suppose it just goes to show how the Irish are intertwined here in Thailand. And there's over 4,000 Irish people living and working here in Thailand. I had the pleasure of meeting many of them over the weekend. They were taking part in our national sports sports of hurling and Gaelic football here. There's a very vibrant club here, and what I really enjoyed was that every week some of the teachers teach young Thai students how to play our Irish national sport of Gaelic football.
The minister also underscored the high quality of education in Ireland, stressing the importance of maintaining Ireland's connections in Thailand. To strengthen its presence in the country's education sector, the Irish Embassy will launch an alumni network to foster greater engagement and collaboration.
I believe that by working together and in cooperation with one another, that we're only going to be able to go from strength to strength. And we have a really strong embassy team here led by Ambassador Pat Bourne. We've had a permanent resident embassy here since 2015 and developing those trade links, and particularly around education as well. There are a lot of Thai students that travel to Ireland every year. Tomorrow I'll be launching an alumni network for Thai students that have already studied in Ireland, because we believe it's very important that those links that have been fostered with Ireland continue to grow in the years ahead also.
Additionally, the minister shared his expertise in housing, as Thailand's government plans to develop affordable housing projects for its citizens. He emphasized that while funding is crucial, collaboration with the private sector can help accelerate the delivery of this project.
Funding is a really important part of it, but it's not the only part. Yeah. You know, we have challenges in terms of the workforce in Ireland, particularly in the wet trades of block laying, plastering, which that's why we need to move more to modern methods in terms of mass production, to be able to create synergies and opportunities between the private sector and between the state to be able to deliver for our people, because that's the most important thing. It's important for young people in Ireland to be able to aspire to own their own home and to be able to have safe and secure rental property.
Frank Kanshi reporting for Thai PBS World.
And now in this episode of Home Away, we have an inspiring story of a Dutch expat and his remarkable dedication. During his first visit to Thailand at just 11 years old, he fell in love with the country, knowing instantly that it was where he belonged. Now, after spending nearly half his life here, he has dedicated himself to giving back to the country he calls home. Adwunyatat has the full story.
Allow foreigners to take part in politics, because I would be the first one to run.
Of course.
If that's possible one day, right? So that's number one. Second,
his statement is far from exaggeration. People would vote for him if Thai law permitted, as he's one of the most well-known figures in the Klong Toey area, who is always around when help is needed. Back in 2020, Friso Podovat co-founded the Bangkok Community Health Foundation during the peak of the coronavirus pandemic. Its very first mission was to help people get through the tough time. So far, they have helped an estimated 4 million people through a vast range of projects.
When we met 5 years ago was really the beginning. It was COVID-19, and we said, okay, we need to do something, we need to help out. And from there, from that moment, many things happened. Now we're sitting on top of our own building suddenly, right? Which 5 years ago we didn't have. So the foundation has been growing exponentially. We're very, very happy and very grateful that we're still here and that we can do so much. Yeah.
The foundation works on several development areas at the same time, such as education and scholarships, and a program in which people trade plastic bottles for money, which cleans the community and provides income. They also help elderly residents in the Klong Toey slum.
The main focus is to develop people and to hopefully develop Thailand as a whole. That's maybe a very big thing to say, but we really feel that we lead the way. We show what can be done, and hopefully, that spreads and becomes bigger and bigger. So really, our ambitions are very big. We do not feel that we are, a small entity. We feel we can make a big difference. That's why we do so many things. There's nothing that we wouldn't do to help someone else. And that's maybe also why, I mean, you asked, like, you know, do you have a very narrow focus? No, we don't.
One of their projects involves distributing 500 meals daily to homeless people across Bangkok. However, after doing this for the past 3 years, they have realized that they needed to do more than just provide food each day. From that point on, they established the Center of Dreams with support from various stakeholders. This facility is Bangkok's first homeless shelter, offering not only basic necessities but also skill development and job opportunities to help people rebuild their lives.
All about getting people on their own feet. We are here to help them, yes, but we are not here to take care of them their whole life, right? We're all about trying to develop people to take care of themselves.
At 33 years old, Friso has spent 15 years in Thailand, long enough to develop a deep understanding of the country. He believes that the education system needs to be better because that's how the country improves. He also thinks that caring for the elderly is the second most critical issue.
And yeah, take care of the elderly. I keep saying it, but we're very worried about this, you know? Like, it's really time to do something because it's getting out of control. And it's very easy to see.
Right.
You don't need to be an economist or, you know, study human science to understand that there is an imbalance, right? There's less children being born, obviously. So, I mean, if you don't do anything, that imbalance will just grow. And then at some point you'll have a big problem. So this I would love to, like, you know, like scream sometimes, like, you know, can we do something? You know, it just doesn't seem to be on the card still, unfortunately.
Friso appears to know the Klong Toey slum and the community better than many Thais. He points out that outdated perceptions persist, with some still believing that this area is very dangerous, filled with drugs, criminals, and alcohol. However, things have got way better here. He mentioned that it's crucial to create the right awareness toward the Klong Toey community members, as we all share the same society.
So a lot of people still have this stigma with them, that this is a dangerous place, you should never come here, people are lazy, they don't work, they only steal. It's not true, right? Today we've been walking here, you didn't feel unsafe, right? This is a developing place, this is a place that's growing, this is a place where people are hungry to learn, to work, and to, you know, be part of society, right? But they do not always get the chance to do so. So again, the big misconception is that you can look down on people that are maybe lower class than you, but when you go and fill up your BMW with gas, who's filling up your car? We need to understand that these people are very much part of our daily lives. So, of course, we need to not just look down on people, we need to embrace and we need to understand that, like, these people, you know, why are they having a hard time? And they're not that different from us. They maybe got dealt another set of cards in their poker game, right?
With his background in and passion for cinematography, Friso also runs a creative agency, making films for all kinds of clients, which he does for a living. This business started when he first arrived in Thailand at the age of 18. He admits that he feels incredibly grateful that Thailand has been so welcoming and has provided him with a chance to build his life here. In return, he wants to give back to society.
For me personally, what I get back is that my goal was always to try and come as close to Thai people as possible, because I will never be Thai. It's also not my ambition per se to be Thai, right? But to come as close as possible to society, that's where we are right now. That's where I am right now, I feel, right? So that's what I get back. I feel completely integrated in here, right? That is my big win. And I get a lot of love. You never want to stop. You know, you want to do more because you want to, you know, feel that you're making a difference and get that love in return. So this is the biggest prize, and this is all we need. Nothing more than that.
And that's a very touching story indeed. And that wraps up tonight's edition of This Week with Thai PBS World. Join us every Friday at 10:30 p.m. only on Thai PBS. And don't forget to follow us on social media and our website, ThaiPBSWorld.com, for all the latest stories and analyses about Thailand. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ
ข่าวไทย PBS ข่าวที่คุณวางใจ